Hi, it's Colin, and today I'm going to be going through Apple's latest releases, that being the new Apple Watches, the new AirPods, and the new iPhone. Let's go.
I've been dancing in the shadows. Tell me you remember.
Alright, let's start with the Apple Watches. Now, Apple released 3 new Apple Watches. Those are the Series 8, the SE, and the Ultra, and I'm going to real briefly give you an explanation on what they changed. So for the Series 8, they added a new temperature sensor, and this allows for more detailed menstrual cycle tracking, as well as sleep tracking and body temperature monitoring. They've also added crash detection, a low power mode, which works for all devices, Series 4 and up, as well as a faster processor and new colors. And faster and new colors is going to be a consistent theme throughout this release. Now, this Apple Watch starts at $399, and if you want it with cellular, it's $499, and you'll be able to buy it the 16th of September. Now, Apple also released the Apple Watch SE, and this is basically an Apple Watch Series 4, but a little bit faster. Compared to the Series 8, it doesn't have an always-on display, it does not have a blood oxygen sensor, no temperature sensor, and it also does not take ECGs, which the Series 4 can do. Now, this Apple Watch does start at $250, and again, is available the 16th of September. And finally, we have the Apple Watch Ultra, and for me, I don't fully understand the point. Apple made a very rugged watch. It's a very rugged watch. It's the biggest one they've made so far, but I just don't fully see the market for it. I know, intense athletes might use it, but I still feel like the Series 8, and to be honest, Series 4 through Series 8, work just great for what they do. But let's talk about the Ultra, as they call it. So it goes up to 100 meters underwater, which is double that the Series 8 and below can do. It has a weird button on the side called the action button, as well as your already 2 existing buttons. It has more accurate GPS and a siren that you can hear from about 600 feet away. It has double the battery life, which is super nice, of 36 hours compared to the previous 18 hours for the Series 8 and below. And for divers, it has depth monitoring and water temperature monitoring. And now this all sounds great until you hear about the price tag, which is $800. For me, that's a bit much for what it offers, but hey, if you want to pay that, you can. And this Apple Watch is available September 23rd. Now, if you're wondering which one to buy, here's what I think. For very entry level, for low end, I would buy actually the Apple Watch Series 4. The reason why is it has more features actually than the new Apple Watch SE, and it starts at $150. Now, the only cons are, since it came out a few years ago, you're only going to be able to find it on Amazon, and because of that also, it's going to stop receiving software updates earlier, as well as have less support. Now, for more middle end, I would actually buy the Apple Watch SE. It's still a very good watch for what it offers. It's brand new, which means you're going to have tons of support, tons of software updates for the next couple of years at least. And since it only is $250, it's quite affordable for many people. Again, the only cons are it does have a couple less features, such as that ECG app, compared to the Series 4, but whether or not you need that, that's up to you. And finally, the high-end version is not the Series 8, in my opinion, but actually the Series 7, and here's why. First off, you can get it for about $70 cheaper than you can the Series 8 online. You go on Amazon and you'll find it for about $330. And I should mention, when I say Amazon, Apple is still selling it to you only through Amazon instead of their website. Now, the nice thing about buying a Series 7, again, besides it being cheaper, is it has almost everything that the Series 8 has besides the temperature sensor. And if that's a big deal to you, then go out and buy a Series 8. But for me, it's not, so I would actually rather buy a Series 7. Okay, onto AirPods, and this one's quick because they only released one new set of AirPods, and that is the AirPod Pros. Now, these things are actually pretty cool. They added better noise cancellation, which was already great in the first place, so the fact that they've made it better is amazing. You now have touch control, so besides just tapping and pressing, you can now swipe and things like that, which I think is, again, great. Hands-free is, or not having to look at your phone is very nice. There's longer battery life now for both the case and the AirPods, which again is always welcome. And finally, they've added a speaker to the case. So now if you misplace your case and your AirPods aren't in it, you can find your case, which is a problem I struggle with. I assume other people struggle with that too. They also added a lanyard loop in case you want to use that, up to you. And these start at the normal price of $250, available September 23rd as well. And if you are looking to buy AirPods, here's what I think. Again, low end, I would actually stick with the second generation AirPods. These are the ones with the long stem. And the reason why is they still have really good value for what they're worth. Apple still sells them, believe it or not, for $130 or you can go on Amazon again and buy them for $99 brand new. And they work great. You won't have active noise cancellation and things like that, but up to you on whether or not you really want those features. If you don't though, great buy. And then, of course, for the high end, I would actually suggest the brand new AirPod Pros. They're great. They have better battery life, better noise cancellation, better sound. Overall, just an improvement on the last generation. So if you have that extra little bit of money, I would totally go out and buy them. One note, I would not, under any circumstance, buy the AirPod 3s. And here's the reason why. They're at a very odd place in the whole AirPod lineup. They go for $180 right now, which is right in between the $250 mark for the AirPod Pros and the $100 to $130 mark for the second generation AirPods, which puts them in this weird middle ground because they don't really offer that many new features. So in my opinion, I would either buy the second generation, or if you have enough money that you scrapped up, go out and buy the Pros. I wouldn't get that middle one because it's, in my opinion, just not worth it. And finally, the part you've all been waiting for, the iPhones. So let's get started with the iPhone 14. Now, before I go into this, I just want to take a quick moment to talk about the naming. We have the iPhone 14, the 14 Plus, the 14 Pro, and the 14 Pro Max. And you're probably confused by all this, but just know that Plus and Max actually mean the same thing in this sense. They both mean bigger, the bigger sized phone. So the 14 and the 14 Pro are the same size, and the 14 Plus and the 14 Pro Max are the same size as well. Why they use different naming, I don't know. I hate it. Apple, please don't do something like this ever again. Just use Plus or use Max. One of the two. Don't use both. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into the iPhone 14's features. Now, it is slightly faster and has new colors, and that is it. Okay, I'm joking, but you get the idea. There's not too much new for the iPhone 14, the base model that is. It does have a slightly longer battery life. They added emergency SOS via satellite, so if you're in a remote location and need help, you can, although Apple hinted that you have to pay for it, which is interesting because I don't see why you'd have to pay for it, but they didn't even tell us pricing or anything, just hinted saying you might need to pay for this, so that's great. Has better cameras, which is nice for low light photos. Crash detection, so Apple really likes making sure you're not in a car accident. Action mode on camera, which is really cool. Basically, it turns your phone into a gimbal, and it works wonderfully, and it looks super smooth, and I love it. And an eSIM card, which basically just means that your cellular network is on your phone instead of on a little chip. Now, this new phone starts at $799 and is available to buy on the 16th of September. However, you can pre-order it on the 9th of September, which I would do because those tend to sell pretty fast, and you're going to experience a few weeks wait time if you don't get on the train quickly and buy one. Now, onto the 14 Pro features. Now, besides being slightly faster and having new colors, it now has a new notch, also known as the Dynamic Island, and I absolutely love how Apple managed to implement this. And I don't say this that often. They hit it out of the park with this one. Instead of just physically removing the notch, because again, right now it's really difficult, they turned it into a pill, basically. They moved it off the top of the screen, but now instead of just having that there, your notifications and other apps actually work around it, which is absolutely incredible. Blurring the line between hardware and software just really enhances the user experience, makes you feel more like you have a borderless phone, which I, again, absolutely love. Apple, great job on this one. On the topic of Apple knocking things out of the park, they also finally added an always-on display. Now, we've been asking for this since the iPhone X came out with its OLED screen. Why hasn't Apple done it? Well, now they've finally done it. They've added an always-on display, which looks amazing, and probably works great too, knowing Apple. You also have a brighter display now too, which is always welcome. Better cameras, and pretty much the same thing that the iPhone 14 has. And this one starts at $1,000 like usual. Same dates, September 16th to buy, or the 9th to pre-order. And of course, if you want to buy the Plus or the Max version, they're just bigger. That's it. Yeah. Now, real quick, which one to buy? Well, again, we're sorting this into tiers. The low-end tier, we have the 12 or the 13. Now, I personally wouldn't actually buy the iPhone 14. I'd rather buy a 12 or a 13, and the reason why is it's just a better deal. Apple still sells the 12 and 13 on their website and in store, so if you want to pick those up from Apple directly, you still can. They start at $599 for the 12, $699 for the 13, or if you want the mini version, which the 14 does not come in, you will be paying $600 for the 13 mini. The 12 mini is not on sale anymore. And you still have to remember that even though they're not the brand new phones, these are only 1 or 2 years old, meaning they're still great phones. They're super fast, they're super durable, they look the same as the new version. You're gonna be able to tell a difference. And they're still, again, like I said, great phones. And now for the higher end, I'm going to say the 14 Pro. I absolutely love this thing. I have not been excited for an iPhone in this long, probably since the iPhone 10. It's top of the line. Obviously, you're going to have all the new features, tons of support, tons of software updates, and for pro users or just people that have $1,000 lying around to buy a phone, I 100% suggest you buy this phone. It seems amazing, and again, knowing Apple, their execution is almost always very, very good. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully that covers everything. If I didn't answer all the questions, please leave them down below. I would love to answer any questions you have. If you're just curious on what you want to buy, or iPads, or anything like that that I didn't cover in this video, please let me know. Thanks for watching.
Dancing in the shadows.